What is up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. I am going to be doing a live today with Dave Molador, my brother, out in California. And he's another fellow Orgone crafter and creator. So, he's been around for a long time like myself in the industry. And, we've both been getting interesting testimonials from our clients, and we'd like to share kind of like what we've been experiencing from our clients. We'd like to share kind of what's going on out there in the industry. Like to share basically what's been going on out there with our work. It's been a little while since we've done a live, and this whole pandemic thing has been changing a lot of things in social media, and a lot of people either aren't using these avenues anymore or navigating to different platforms, or our platforms are just being under attack in general. So, there's a lot of things to discuss this time, but we're keeping our vibe high, and we're coming on here today so we can share with everybody what's been going on with our companies behind the scenes with the work that we do. In case you were wondering, hello, thank you for joining. Waiting for Dave to join us pretty soon. We'll be discussing basically ascension symptoms, what you can be expecting if you have a pulsed unit from us, what you might expect. I'm not going to say everybody's going to experience the same things. We're all genetically engineered a little bit differently, but as far as what these devices can provide for us, the more we share with each other of these things, what we're experiencing, the better we're going to get at what we do, the work we do, the better understanding we're going to have of things, and we'll go from there. What's up, everyone? Waiting on Dave to show up. If you have any questions, please ask me. I haven't been on here a lot because there's been a lot of energy work going on behind the scenes, a lot of different work. So lots of changes. What's up, Luke, Natasha? Right. So I had to up and relocate pretty quickly. That was not expected, but I'm in my new place now and super grateful to be here. It's definitely different. I haven't lived in a city in quite some time. I've usually been on the outskirts of the cities, or like on ranch properties or whatnot, where I'm on well water, and I'm back in the system. So I'm like in the heart of the city here in Phoenix, Arizona, back inside of an apartment. And I told myself back then, like after the last apartment, I'd never live in one again. But back then when I said that too, I wasn't probably taking care of myself like I am these days. So I'm a little bit more capable of handling these types of environments and adapting these days than I was previously. So just waiting on Dave to join everybody. I don't know what's up. Not sure. So let me see. Just wait for him to join on here and request to join in. I might have to get off and then see if he's ready yet. I'm not sure. I texted him, but we both are family men, so he might be tied up with the kiddos at the moment and just running behind. Dave started making Orgonite, I don't remember what year, quite some time ago. I think it was like about 7 years ago or something like that. And that's when we connected, was kind of like in the beginning. And I was still in kind of early stages of making my prototypes. I hadn't made a company or a business out of it yet. I was just dabbling and making devices for friends and family, and having fun with it, I mean, this is something that anybody can make. There's Dave now. What up, my brother? He's going to join in here. So everybody welcome in Dave. All right, brother. We're going to go live. Give him a follow too. Follow his account. They took it down, Instagram. There he is, my brother.
How's it going?
Hanging in there, man.
We're here. What were you saying? Continue.
Yeah, no, I was just sharing a little bit about kind of what we were doing, what we're kind of going to be discussing today, the topics on detox symptoms, ascension symptoms, what maybe somebody might experience with one of these pulsed units if they order a pulsed unit from us. And also just to talk about what's going on out there, you know, with the shadow banning, the accounts, what we're up against with this beast, you know, on our doorstep. You know, what tools maybe we're using to navigate around during these times, and then moving into the future, what we can do to kind of like unite and move forward, um, you know, together with this, because it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. um, so let me start with this. Let me read you this testimonial that I got from this client that I told you about. Remember, we talked about and it's sort of the detox symptoms from Orgonite. So, this is the third testimonial I've received. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. This is the third testimonial I've received over, I don't know, 6 years or whatever. So, hey, Dave, we received the order from you that my husband placed. Thanks so much. We were very excited to get it as I have chronic health issues and I'm hoping to allow more healing by having cleaner energy in my home. But ever since we got the items, I've been having a constant migraine. I don't usually get migraines, so I'm associating it to the Orgon devices. Does that happen to some other people? How would you explain it? Should I introduce the items into our home one by one? I'm not sure how to proceed at this point. I would appreciate your input. And so I replied with like, I'll see if I can find my reply here. I said it's rare, but I've had some clients experience some sort of like detox symptoms similar to that, where the first 3 or 4 days to a week is you get like headaches, migraines, things like that, bad dreams. When the energy changes in the environment, like it does with Orgon, it can have that sort of effect, especially if, like you said, you've had chronic health illnesses, or if you're electrosensitive, EMF sensitive. I said that's the only thing I could think it can be, because then I said I would leave the devices as close to the ground as possible. I would give it a little bit more time, and then I said, thinking about it a little more, I've had a couple of clients tell me that they've had sort of these experiences where things rise to the surface in their dreams, and they're facing stuff that they had suppressed a long time ago, maybe emotionally, so one client I remember had told me she buried some stuff deeply emotionally within her psyche, and then after about a week, all the bad dreams turned to like perfect, harmonious, energetic, ambient atmosphere, and everything was smooth sailing from then on. So I think this is a really interesting dynamic that I was telling a client about yesterday over the phone, and she was like, "Oh, so should I be careful?" And I was like, "No. I'm just giving full disclosure that if you are EMF sensitive, you might experience something like that, but it's very rare." But the energy does change with these things, and they calibrate to their environment the first few days. Wouldn't you agree?
I would say so. I've experienced that myself. Being around pulse units for quite some time now, it's definitely been an eye opener when I don't even have them around as well. Like right now, I have no pulse units. I know I make these things, and I don't have one right now on and working. But well, actually, I lie. I have got a machine in my kitchen that's pulsing. But regardless, totally. And to add to that, I had a client reach out, this was probably a couple months ago, with a very similar testimonial. Like, should I be experiencing headaches? It's been like a week now, like, have you heard of this before? And honestly, that was the first testimonial that I ever received that was like that, in that manner, where she was like, yeah, I've been experiencing the headaches. And so I told her, very something kind of similar, because what I've experienced with pulsed units when I first started making them was, yeah, like a detox period. What is happening? Let's get down to like the science of what these things do, right? The science combined with magic, it's all in the same, right? And that's what we're finding. We're coming into that day and age right now where they're meeting together. Quantum physics is proving this stuff. So on a cellular level, we're being bombarded with toxic vibrations and frequencies, that EMF smog, that 5G, that 4G, the shit that's on a cellular level is really upsetting the cells and is honestly forcing them to adapt.
Right.
So if you're in an environment where your cells on a cellular level are like, hey man, I'm being freaking bashed in here, I need to evolve to survive. That's what's happening is people are their bodies on a cellular level are trying to adapt to survive. And that's not, like we shouldn't be having to do that on that level. And so when you're bringing a device that's ultimately amplifying vibrational frequencies that bring balance, that bring harmony and harmonization to the surrounding environment, it's going to correct those imbalances. And so on a cellular level, let's think about this here. What stimulates the cells? What stimulates the mitochondria in the cells to get an electrical and supercharge in a sense? There's varieties of ways to do that. You can do that with cold water therapy, which is why I've done that stuff and people have seen me do that. You can do that with vibrations and Reiki attunements. You can do that with crystal therapy work. There's so many different ways to ultimately stimulate the cells and bring balance. These pulse units are a very rapid way, I feel, of doing that. And depending on the pulse rate, the frequency, the rate at which the recurring vibration and frequency is emitted will also, like what I've experienced, because we've been making 15 hertz units and we've also been making 30,000 hertz units. My experience is the 15 hertz it's a potent frequency. It's its own unique thing. And I know you felt that because that's what we've been making for the longest time. And then the 30K hertz option, it's its own like thing, man. It's like you turn that sucker on and like my clients that have had the 30K hertz one, they're like, whoa, this thing's strong. I can like feel it from 25 feet away. And these are, really conscious people too that I'm grateful enough to be making these devices for as well, giving me testimonials, people that have already been doing energy work for years. And also I've had clients that haven't been doing any of that work that have given me their testimonials, wondering what's happening to me. I'm going through these things, explain, like, do you know? And, I'm going through this learning with them as well, right? We're taking research that's been done over the last 70 plus years and we're expanding on it. We're emphasizing on it. We're making and evolving it because it has to evolve to keep up with the technologies we're up against.
Yeah. Well, I think Wilhelm Reich had a similar quote that it's on my page and I'm forgetting it right now, but it's basically that concept of when we combine, the spiritual component with the scientific component, we're gonna make. I think actually it was Tesla, but Reich had a similar quote. But hey, so let me read this testimonial that I printed up from the email. So I replied to her, right, with her saying that she had these migraines. So I replied. She replied back to me. Okay, so check this out. If I can find it here. Okay, so check this out. So thank you for getting back to me, Dave. I appreciate it. So now that it's been 4 days or so, I'm starting to feel much better. I did not realize how powerful these were, and I put 4 on the floor around my bed. It made me have the most intense migraine of my life. Once I removed them from my bedroom, things settled down, but I was still headachy until today. My friend who also uses these and who is hypersensitive to EMF said she gets headaches when there are changes in the energy of the environment from placing them around her. She sees them as good headaches because she knows from experience that it means they are working and that her headaches will go away in about 3 days. I guess I'm EHS too, electro hypersensitive. And then she says, well, I have you here. I wanted to ask where you recommend putting the devices, next to the bed, blah, 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 blah. And, so I basically told her, yeah, keep them next to the bed. If you can't put them under your bed, next to is fine. And I've been thinking that for a while that the lower the better, like on the ground, they should be grounded kind of. But I've been sleeping lately with pyramids on my windowsill, like elevated. And like the whole house is still just having these amazing lucid dreamscapes that we talk about when we get up. So I don't know. But not to combine too many things at once, but it's so amazing to me that she replied with how these other two clients replied to these testimonials that kind of were disturbing to read at first. You're like, shit, did I wrap something wrong? Did I not get the right cubit length or something on some of the copy? You start questioning yourself, right? When you get these, and then you're like, wait, no, but I made those right. And those all came out good. And then to see that it flips 4 days later with all those 3 clients, how everything's good now. It's like it reinforces that something is happening, and I can only equate it to a detox sort of process. You know, when the body has a cold or a flu, it's not really pleasant. You're expelling, you're detoxification. You know, it's a detoxification process, and this is like we're breaking ground to come across this on an energetic level, on when we're flipping the frequency. So this is just blows my mind, because I mean, it's one thing to have good testimonials, and I don't know if you remember when we were kind of battling with those other Orgonite makers. We won't name them.
Yeah.
They were trying to slander us. Do you remember they hopped on it was you or I's live, or Lex's and my live. They hopped on and they were saying, oh, those good testimonials, those are all just the placebo effect. Your clients are just dealing with the placebo, or they think they're going through this, so, you know, because of the devices, and they really want to. And we were like, well, how do you know that's not the case with your devices too? Come on. So anyway, so that's why we do all the tests, the water test, the plant test, you know, the negative ion readings, even though I think those aren't as reliable. But to see testimonials like this, where there's an actual energetic detox, and then they improve in 3 or 4 days, and they're like, whoa, this is great now, that just blows my mind. And that's why I called you the other day.
Yeah. It's mind-blowing, man. And I'm grateful that you called, because I was experiencing very similar testimonials. My client, she told me that the headaches went away after a week, never felt better, you know, asked for more devices, more gridding work, because her home's right behind a power line, a set of power lines, you know, big towers. And so, you know, it's what's happening, and what I'm finding too, and what I've heard from some of my shaman friends that have had these tools I've made, is that it's activating DNA. It's activating dormant genetics. What does that mean? That can mean a lot of things. It can be very, you know, can just go right over the head, right? So, I mean, what I've been finding and researching is that, you know, emotional trauma is transferred down through genetics. You know, it can be in your genes, right? And right now, what's happening in this ascension right now on Mother Earth is we're being forced to level up, in a sense. Or those that choose, that see it, that feel the calling, that are like really moving towards that, are gonna kind of like, they're going to be navigated to the tools and the people that are going to allow them to ascend, right? And so these devices are activating old DNA, and maybe from past lives, from your ancestors, and maybe it's not so pretty, and you're experiencing the memory and the trauma that's related to that, and that has to be released if you want to heal, man. Because what causes dis-ease? Trapped energy. And if we have trapped energy in our body, man, I've been learning from like Sifu's, tons of wisdom, thousands and thousands of years of like knowledge passed down about this stuff. And it's like trapped energy is what causes and manifests in disease. So if it surfaces through dreams and through how you're feeling, then it's going to be, you know, you're going to experience that, then it's going to be released. And then once it's released, you know, it's gone, it can be gone. And I think that's what's happening with these newer devices, is that, you know, we're putting a lot of ingredients into these devices. We're putting, you know, Ormus gold powder into these devices. You know, this is a substance to just fart around with. This is what our ancestors were using, because on a level it extends life. It creates the God vibe within you. When I'm consistently taking Ormus, nothing penetrates my auric field. I'm happy all the time. I could get punched in the face and I'm going to laugh about it. So it's like, it's one of those things that, you know, we're incorporating so many vibrational frequencies into these devices that are being amplified into a scalar wave field. And if you're basking in that scalar wave field of healing vibrations, Dude, there's going to be uncomfortability. There's going to be a detox in that. It happens. I mean, shit, you look at my body now, like it changes a lot as I go through my detoxes. Like as I'm detoxing, I'll gain 5, 6 pounds. It's interesting. And then I'll detox all the crap out of my body. And then I'm back to where I was. It's the weirdest thing. Like I'm not changing really like eating habits. I just noticed that energy manifests physically in so many different ways. And these devices are just merely the tools, not only to help us in that healing and that awareness and cleansing and protecting us during that ascension process, but we can expect there's going to be well, I don't want to say what might not happen. I'm not going to cast that spell, but others have experienced ascension symptoms and detox symptoms.
Yeah, that's what Wilhelm Reich was finding in his cancer patients, right? You know, that most disease was caused by unhealed trauma, and the life force was not able to flow through. That it was stagnated energy. So stagnated energy is, and how many of us are dealing with trauma? How many of are dealing with trauma that we bury and and we're suppressed? I mean, and look at what we're doing now. Like the mask is just a symbol of suppression, of suppression of emotions, suppression of everything, speech, and so it's gonna, yeah. I mean, these people who have contacted me, they have like chronic illnesses. That was what they had in common, and so there's definitely some stagnation there. So in order for that stagnation to sort of clear, it would make sense that the first few days they're around these devices that are going to assist in that process, that it's going to be an unpleasant experience. So that makes sense to me. So I would think that most people who are maybe a little bit more healthier, less chronic illnesses, less unhealed trauma, might not be as affected by these devices. It brings to mind this one guy who told me years ago, he bought a pulse device. And he told me he's like really healthy. He's like, I fast, I intermittent fast, I eat whole food, plant-based, and I got a bunch of crystals around. And he told me he didn't feel much of an effect from the pyramid. And I'm like, well, I know that was a potent pyramid. And so that's interesting because, in some ways, the more healthier you are, maybe this energy, it's going to be more subtle and it's not going to affect you as much because you're maybe your auric field's pretty clean and protected and, I don't know, more pure, but and people who have more in stagnated, sort of energy, there might experience it. It makes sense. It makes sense. And we're learning so much about detoxification and what colds and flus are. I mean, do you know John Rose? He's the guy he's always talking with the shirt off. And, yeah, he's in Texas, I think. But I've learned so much from him over the years, and he does raw juice. He promotes juice fasting, juice feasting, and he only eats raw vegan. And he was saying that colds and flus are basically caused by the food we eat. And the body's trying to detoxify. It's sort of like a seasonal detoxification process. And that leads into the whole contagion thing, like, people getting sick at the same time. And this is a really interesting phenomenon that I'm finding. I'm reading the book, The Contagion Myth by Dr. Thomas Callan. And I think that there's some sort of energetic field that we're all sort of connected to, that it's not something like, well, you breathed on me and now I'm going to have a cold or a flu and I breathed on you. I don't think Dr. Thomas Callan doesn't think it's that. I think it's some sort of thing that we're all connected to. I mean, like, how many times have you thought about someone and they call like 5 minutes later, or you have a dream about someone and then you randomly run into them, a few days later or something. There's some sort of energetic field that we're all connected to, that we sort of, our vibration or our frequency sort of carries over into them, and it's just like I don't know if it's the power of our mind, how our mind has this amazing ability, like the creator of the universe, to just create reality. We have that ability to do that, but it's like there's some sort of morphogenetic field or something that we're all connected to, that I think is why people get sort of sick at the same time, because they might be having the same sort of lifestyles, living together. And well, it's really interesting concept,
Yeah,
and
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and that's just food. That's just talking about food and diet, and we're talking about subtle energy having that effect. So a device that creates a subtle, and with these devices, right, they create a vacuum scalar field. So scalar fields are really interesting because our thoughts are scalar fields, right? So our thought is a scalar field, scalar energy. And when you have a device that creates a vacuum scalar field, you can imprint your thoughts and your intentions into that vacuum scalar field and like increase your manifestation abilities. And this sounds like new age woo woo nonsense, but like I'll be damned if, you know, like the testimonials I'm reading and seeing and telling me, people telling me how these devices have literally changed their life. I had a 2-hour conversation with a repeat buyer yesterday, and he received a couple pulse units, and he's like, he just wanted to talk about how much they've changed his life. And I'm like, wow, man, it's like, you know, you don't want to like, you know, get all like, oh, you know, but it's really just interesting to see how these devices can impact people's uh, energy fields. And
Totally.
yeah, I'm just like, I'm glad we're gonna, you know, move forward with continuing with the pulse unit. So how are you doing in that regard with the mobile pulse unit, where there's the you know, essentially the battery on it, and then people can bring it around. They don't need to plug it in or have anything like that.
Yeah. So obviously it's been we've been working on that for a while. It's been a lot of interesting things, challenges preventing that in a sense.
Yeah,
I'm wanting to bring that to fruition this year. You know, I think pulse units are the answer. My clients that have been really getting the pulse units recently are loving them, and like being able to make ones that kind of tailor to the lifestyle of what we need. Ultimately is yeah, is basically, you know, what we're both working towards, right? This next generation of units, I feel, you know, should be as like, because people are wanting convenience, right? We're, you know, that's ultimately what's winning people over these days, is ease and convenience, as sad as it is, right? You know, we're in that day and age. It's not like picking up the telephone, dialing on the number keypad these days anymore. And we're wanting that the solutions that are going to protect us when we're out on the go, right? And so mobile pulse units will be sweet, you know, ones that you can basically, um, you know, recharge on a wireless charging pad. You can just set it down, charge it up. When it's done, pick it off the charger, and then, you know, be on your merry way. It's going to pulse and protect you. And you know, that's the idea. The future's headed into those, you know, into that area. What'd she say? We got a question. The pulse
yeah,
unit can be done to parallax to change it every 2 to 3 days. Yeah, if you have a pulse unit with a zapper, the battery life on the zappers typically will drain a 9-volt battery in 2 to 3 days. It's just typical power usage. The zappers require a certain amount of amperage to be powered. The fact that you can even get 2 to 3 days out of that little battery is pretty shocking as it is. But you know what I recommend, if you're a person that's going to be you know, using their pulse unit all the time, get a wall charger, have it plugged in all the time. Or you can even get like some kind of a 12-volt solar panel, like little micro ones that suction cup to the window, and you can plug that right into your pyramid. At any time it's getting sunlight, it's pulsing your unit. But anyways,
yeah. You can get a battery station thing that, you know, just rechargeable batteries. That's what I do, and just have like 3 little stations, and then just keep recycling your batteries, you know, with rechargeable batteries. But yeah, that's I can't wait until that project comes to fruition that we're going to partner on, and that'll be amazing. But the feedback I've been getting and you've been getting on the 30,000 hertz stimulation with whoa, so that's pretty interesting, because it's a little more, it's a little less subtle than the 15 hertz. So 30,000 hertz, yeah, that I definitely would recommend that for anyone who's near in the city or near a 5G, you know, installation. You just need something a little bit stronger. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy times. We're I had to punch your name, like your handle, Third Eye Oregon, all the way in just to find you. So I feel like you're being shadow banned. Obviously, my page got taken down. The ministers of truth are out in full force, and yeah, it's pretty crazy times.
Dude, I was pretty heartbroken when I couldn't find your page. And I went to tag you and I couldn't find that it wasn't there. And when I found it, it had like the 3 followers. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like you're somebody that I looked up to because you're a genuine good guy. You're doing the good work out there in the world to help people when your heart's in that right place. It's not of coming from greed. It's not coming of want and ego. And, ultimately you're under attack for that truth, right? And that's, it boils a fire in my heart, honestly. It pissed me off. Like, I couldn't believe Instagram did that shit. Like, it really drew a fire under my ass with Ezekiel even, in his account. It's like we're the people out there that are really trying to help the collective are being attacked right now. And, obviously it's a world of polarity. As the good rise, the evil rises to try to break it down, right? And so I'm accepting of that, but I'm also not entertaining the darkness, right? I'm not going to succumb, and I'm going to be that light that rises to fight the darkness, right? That's what we have to do. And as much as we may find ourselves questioning ourselves and maybe, like, am I doing the right work? Like, we are, man, we're doing the right work. And it's the testimonials that you got, it's the testimonials that I've been getting. And, Sonia joined, she has a pulse unit of mine. Thank you, Sonia, for joining. There's many on here, our family, our clients and friends and soul family that have connected with us for a reason during this time. And these devices are needed. So, I know I've been like getting ready to host this workshop for the longest time, and it's like been getting postponed, bro. But I'm not postponing it anymore. It's happening starting Monday. I'm finally ready to launch this thing.
Cool.
But, I feel like, there's been, I guess, what I said to you the other day that resonated was the beast is on our doorstep. And I'm going to say it again because people need to hear this. What that means is, like, okay, metaphorically, think of it like Thanos is here.
Thanos,
the Avenger character, that's like his mission is to wipe away half of life in existence to bring balance to the universe.
Okay.
So just think of that. Okay, that's just a thought. The beast that's on your doorstep, we're being faced with things that are not fucking right? This vaccination thing, the mask thing. Think of that. That's like the Thanos, right? That's the idea that's not right. That's plaguing the virus that's plaguing mankind right now. And ultimately, anybody that's in a vibration of God vibe, of source vibe, that's fully in tune and in alignment, they're not going to get sick. There's no place for dis-ease in God vibe. So how do we get there, right? There's things that we can do, and we have tools. These devices you and I make are shields, are tools and aids in getting there, in protecting us while we can adapt, while we can integrate, while we can do these things. And I'm finding that because I'm living it firsthand. I'll make a device and then it's gone, and then I don't have it here to protect me. And then I'm having to do the work without the protection of the device. But also, I'm finding that the human body is amazing and will adapt the vibrational frequencies of these devices. Hence, what you brought up with your guy saying, I didn't feel much with your really awesome pyramid I had around. Probably because that guy's vibing very high. Yeah. The crystals in his pineal gland, the crystals in his brain, the magnetite crystals that are already in the body naturally are vibing at a frequency that's going to, it's probably very similar to that pyramid already. And so it was maybe taking the load off of him, but he's already vibing that, right? And so we will, on a cellular level, get to that point where we are radiating a vibration so powerful that we don't need certain protection. But that's not always the case, in the beginning.
Yeah. The beast is on our doorsteps. And, I just was looking at the sky this morning when I was praying, and there's those the heart frequency ripples, and then I realized that people won't be seen. People can't know. You know, it's like there's people that won't even notice that. And so we're in this really strange time where people are so oblivious to what's happening, and the great divide is occurring, and there's going to be people we can't save that we want to save, and it's going to be family members, friends, um, and I'm just grateful that we have this technology, and it's I feel like they're making it a little bit more difficult for this technology to get out. You know, I'm having shipping delays on my resin. They took down my page. Sales have been slow. I'm not getting as many, and I definitely feel, that this technology is something they kind of, we've been attacked over the years, and by a couple big accounts that don't want this. Because they know that we're making them correctly. Why would they come after us? But it's a pretty cool energy. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Anything we'd like to touch on, because I think our main thing today was just discussing this amazing sort of experience that we are just coming into realization of, that you can experience a detoxification effect being around these devices the first few days. I would say 3-4 days, and that it's not a bad thing. You can get through it. You'll get through it. It's unpleasant, like a lot of things. Like, when I take a shower and then the last part of my shower I switch to all cold water, it's not very pleasant, but I know it's good for you. Just like when I'm working out, like I don't really want to work out right now. You got to do these things. They're good for you, So it's sort of that same sort of thing. But after the first 3-4 days, I feel like just give these devices a chance, and you'll see how they affect you. And I can't even explain to you, like, the dreamscapes. Like, that's something I'm interested in discussing. Like, I remember my dad, like, super into. My dad's like super, just can't even talk to him about any of this stuff. Indoctrinated baby boomer. I love him, but we're not even talking. He told me years ago that he thinks dreams were just junk of the mind. And when I would ask him, what do you think about dreams, Dad? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's just a bunch of junk in the mind. Oh, don't worry about it. And there's so much more to dreams that I'm discovering. I mean, I go on these like interdimensional, lucid dreamscapes like every night, and especially after I make a new batch. And it's just like, you wake up like, what was that? That was so real. You know what I mean? Like, that was just as real as this conversation right now. What are your thoughts on what dreams are? I mean, obviously it's like our subconscious mind, but the fact that they can be so real and so vivid and like so interdimensional feeling, like literally in another realm. What do you think dreams are?
That's a good question, and I've thought about dreams a lot. And I was talking about dreams. I talk about dreams a lot, actually, but dreams to me are a combination of astral traveling. The soul isn't bound to the physical at that point. When you reach REM in certain states of sleep, the soul can leave the body. And when it leaves the physical, it's not bound by this physical world we know. It's endless. It's timeless. None of that exists anymore. Forget about time. Time doesn't exist when you're out of the body. And in that point, okay, that's when we're learning from ascended masters. That's when the deep wisdom happens, I feel, outside the body. And I've thought about, my epiphany and what I think heaven and hell is. I think those are dimensions. I think that there's a difference between, I think that there's a endless amount of dimensions, and books I've read like Journeys Out of the Body and Far Journeys by Robert Monroe, which are basically just a diary, a recollection of all of his out-of-body experiences that he just wrote down every single time. which are mind-blowing. Anybody should read these books. They'll blow your mind, and you'll have a connection with them because they're going to make you feel things you've probably experienced yourself already, and that's where like the growth happens, that connection, right, between what you already know and have experienced. But so yeah, dreams, I think that they're very important. And for many years, I stunted my dreams because of because I feared them. They're pretty intense. Like some of my dreams, I had night terrors as a child, and it would send me in weird. I'd run, you know, I'd be sleepwalking. I'd wind up in like the dryer in my house, you know, hiding inside the dryer or in a closet, some weird place my mom would find me. And so when I was a young adult, before I became a father, these dreams became so intense to the point where I couldn't even sleep. I was waking up like really like throughout the night and this and that. And honestly, cannabis use, the mother cannabis, was what I used to kind of help mitigate myself for a little while with allowing me to sleep. But then that became problematic, and it became to a point where, you know, dreams are a necessary part of life, and we need them to be healthy. And like when we are having, you know, dream recollection and we're writing down our dreams, there's a lot of wisdom to be gained from dreams. Um, I think dreams are also a product of long periods of concentrated unconscious breath work. Totally. Totally. I agree with you, brother. Thank you for adding that. You know, it's, you know, dreams are really amazing, man. And like, so I've been practicing like not to stimulate myself or medicate at all, like a certain period of time before sleep now, to allow myself the ability to dream and experience the dream state unwavered. Because, you know, I have to face these things, right? I've been doing a lot of deep shadow work, and dreams are so important in our life, man. And so, you know, that's just what I have to say about dreams. But
Yeah, I mean, my dreams are like, I'm always with people I used to know. And I feel like there's the potential that the people I've known in this lifetime, I've known in other lifetimes maybe. And, you know, maybe just different bodies, but same soul or something like that. Because I don't know, I feel like the dreams are telling me about some of the relationships I've had with people. You know, I've made a lot of friends playing baseball and in college, and I'm not in touch with many of them anymore because we're all in different pages on a lot of things, but I still dream about them. And I always want to call my friends, but you know, we're not really in touch anymore like that. So they'll just remain in my dreamscapes. But it's really fascinating, and I don't have a way to prove it, but I do think that having these lucid dreamscapes are healthy for us and some needed.
yeah,
I feel like if you're not getting REM sleep, then you're not really able to get into these crazy dreamscapes, and so I think they're one and the same. And these devices, in my experience, are definitely going to assist with your deep REM sleep and vivid dreamscapes. And so I don't know, they kind of takes into like a spiritual aspect. I think, yeah, you said it, it's like a turning on some sort of, like, I think the etheric field is some sort of a spiritual field. Um, and you know, like they say, there's a spiritual war happening right now, and it's manifesting in the physical. Well, if I'm sensing that the etheric field is a spiritual plane, and then Wilhelm Reich was saying that the ether is either void of life force or full of life force, it would seem that this etheric field, there's almost a battle happening on the etheric field plane right now too, where it's that destroyer dead energy sort of, and then the polar opposite is the sort of the creator God energy. And when you're around these devices, you're going to have that creator God energy impacting you. And then if you have the lower destroyer dead energy in you, or stagnated energy within you, it's going to be some sort of process to release it, right? It's not going to be like perfectly smooth sailing. So you might have some migraines or something. And if you look up what migraines are, they're a symptom of detoxification.
mm, yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to make these devices, and even though sales have been flow, and they've shadow banning and took down the page. I'm going to continue to make these because I really believe in them. You know, I do really believe in these, and just the conversations I've had with clients. Like, if anyone wants to talk about their experiences, or you know, figure out an Orgon package or whatever, like, call Brandon, call myself. We can talk. I love having these chats and connecting, because, you know, it's not just something we're selling because we want to make money. It's something I want people to experience, because then when you have these conversations with people and they tell you how blown away they are and how much better they're feeling and sleeping, it like makes it so worthwhile, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna keep making them because my soul's telling me to, and like, you know, like it's there's some questions that were asked. I'm gonna address some of these questions. Um, so strong empath, how can we continue healing others but not take on their energies? That's a great one. What devices are we making? And then what about when you're half asleep, half awake, messages, confirmation, etc. Okay. Well, so not jumping off too far off topic, getting back into like dreams and stuff, but basically, the empath thing. My dad's an empath, and it's a funny thing. I had a conversation with him recently. He's like, I'm 61, and I am still, you know, I'm just now finding out how to control the empath thing and not amplify energies and like affect people around me. And I'm not comparing myself to my father, okay? I'm an evolved being too. I'm my own person. Yes, I have similar genetics and whatnot, but I've been breaking ancestral traumas. I've been doing deep shadow work. I've been doing things that, no offense, he's never done. And that's okay. There's no judgment there. It's just what I'm doing in my journey, to heal wounds that maybe he had that transferred to me and that are ancestral. And in that, it's not easy, right? I still wonder, like, oh man, am I gonna? I'm just aware now. I'm trying not to put myself into situations where it's going to be really challenging for me to push back with my work field. You know what I mean? Like, I used to like purposefully be like, I need to go and have to be around tons of groups of people and you know, to feel happy, right? I needed to be around a ton of people, but really it was like self-validation, ego, unhealed wounds ultimately that stem to that. You know, you should be able to be really happy in solitude and be not lonely. And so I'm trying to answer your question, but it's a very deep question, and it's something I haven't really even fully found the answer to. But what I can say, and tools that have helped me in mitigating and managing myself with energies around, has been the breath work, doing breath work, praying, and my mantras and my breath work are a part of my morning routine. So when I get up in the morning, I take my cold shower kind of just to start to shock my body and electrify the mitochondria in my cells. It's uncomfortable as hell, but I do it. Get out and I make that quick. It's 30 seconds, maybe to a minute in the shower real quick, just to wake myself up, because I'm not on well water. So I'm trying not to absorb as much little fluoride as I can. Then I go into my breathing, or I'll usually do like a round or two before the shower and then after as well. And after my breath work, I do my prayers, man, and my mantras. I literally do 5-10 minutes of gratitude praying. I literally creation mudra, look that up. And I put emphasis and energy into my prayers of what I want it to do for me for the day. And then I protect myself at the end of it with a protective mantra. That way, when I am caring about my day, if challenges do come arise, you know, I've got that extra shield. So, you know, really it comes down to self-love. How much do you want your vibe to be powerful? You know, how much do you want it? And how much are you willing to sacrifice as far as the ego is concerned to get there?
Like it.
So
Monatomic gold.
that's the stuff right there. I use the same stuff. Yeah.
You know, I feel like the deeper our society turns into chaos and anarchy or whatever, hate, division. Um, I feel like just blessed because I feel like I'm getting closer to God. I'm getting, my relationship with my creator, my prayers are like, I feel like I would feel completely unbalanced and void of everything if I didn't have that, the prayer time in the morning. And I just feel like I'm on a mission to be, to do the work of God.
You are, bro. That's why we're here. It's like, I mean, no good callings, no powerful callings come without that, the combatants, right?
Yeah. 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 This is, I think it's interesting times. We're co-creating. It's like we have the elites or whatever you want to call these people. They are telling us what to create, and that's not set in. We're constantly co-creating reality every second. You know, with the energy we're putting out, because we are so powerful. We're really powerful creator beings, and they want to just continue to minimize us and, you know, throw a diaper on our face and do all these things to our body that violate our autonomy and you know, it's in summer, you know, we're not going to be able to save everyone. Someone made a comment about baby boomers are dropping like flies, and you know, it's just we're not going to be able to save everyone. You know, I want to feel like I can warn everyone and save everyone. I mean, I'm what I'm doing now, my activism that I'm doing now, just FYI, is you know, I have a link tree that's on my Telegram, and so what I've done is I've taken those links and I've added a QR code to them, scan code or whatever, and I'm literally just going and handing them out to people. And I found that people are like really intrigued. They're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Scan it and find out." And so I think that's a form of activism everyone can do. But on that note, you know, all you can do is provide the information to people, and they're going to do what they want with it. So I think it's good. It's good spiritual work to get to do work like that, boots on the ground. Go give people the information, because you never know if you can just help that one person who sees it at the bus stop and starts to put things together in their head, and you helped that person, you know. So helping one person come out of this beast, and this is probably worth it.
Totally. Totally, man. We just gotta, you know, it's like Tupac's quote, man. I may not change the world, but I'm gonna spark the mind of somebody that will, you know. Fucking keep that mindset and just keep doing good. Keep that heart in the right place. Keep trying to be better each day. You know, we make mistakes. That's how we learn in this life, man. It's not easy, man. I made fuckloads of mistakes. Kidding me? But I'm a humble human being. I love everybody now. I love people that send me hate because they're me and they're showing me if I have any kind of emotion to anything that happens to me, that's something I have to look at.
About you?
Reactivity is like something that I've struggled with the most of my life, right? And I own that, but I also, you know, I acknowledge my growth. I acknowledge where I'm at. I love myself. I forgive myself for my past. And that's one of the biggest things. People don't forgive themselves. And that resentment, that self-resentment will eat you up and will take your health from you. So,
Very
yeah.
true. Yeah. I had a failed baseball career where I lost confidence in myself. And because I lost confidence in myself, my career failed. And I've always kind of never forgiven myself for losing confidence in myself. And now I do. I forgive myself because I don't want to suffer the physical consequences of having unhealed trauma and lack of forgiveness and lack of love. So, you know what, everyone, if you make mistakes, just forgive yourself and move on and learn from it. We're only human. We're experiencing this stuff to grow ultimately and to help others grow. And, you know, so, you know, they're censoring right now all the stuff that is getting the truth out on the lies, right? And so, you know, we can continue to try to, with this information, we'll sort of take the higher road and focus on the reality we want to create, and not so much try to wake up everybody, because ultimately that those people are going to have to live with the consequences of the choices they make. And if they believe lies from known liars and go down that path, that is their path. That's their path,
Right.
you know. But I'm going to try to plant seeds and do what I can. And you know, studying the law, natural law, is been really eye-opening. We have laws in place that open. So we have remedy, we have and I think our energy is better spent focusing on those solutions. My little 2 cents.
I agree. I've definitely fallen victim to, or allowed myself to fall victim to, you know, really trying to wake people up too much, maybe even sometimes. I can be pretty damn intense, my rising signs in Aries. So I'm very passionate and fiery, right? But my heart comes in from the right place. It just loves everybody a little too much sometimes. And like sometimes I have to learn myself, right? To check myself. But yeah, man, really just trying to, you know, I'm trying to like pull myself back, right? How do we move forward in a way that's productive, that's loving, that's not going to upset that beast, right? But then also, yeah, it's basically it's just all beautiful, man. I don't know if you've experienced or if you've healed or practiced with any kind of like microdosing, psychedelic psilocybin or anything like that. But, you know, I've found it in my healing journey to be extremely beneficial to basically force you into presence and to break the habits we form via trauma, via just whatever that causes these habits to form in the first place, to get out of them, to be able to see them, first of all, first and foremost, the sight. And with that reflection, that's what brings the change, the willpower, you know, behind bringing that change in. So I'm super grateful for, you know, the plants here. You know, I'm super grateful for these medicines that I've come into my life, that have come into my life, that have been readily available for my healing, for my better understanding and realization of certain things, that have allowed me to create these devices. Like, I'm not going to say a lot of these devices have been channeled pieces too, you know, so I'm going to respectfully say I'm grateful for these blessings that, you know, have shown me the balance that I need to find. Saying we got 2 minutes left. So I'm going to close up with that and just say that I'm grateful, you know, for these devices. I'm going to keep making them. You know, we're going to find a way to beat what's happening right now. I've got your back, bro. You know, I've got your back. And what would you like to share, you know, in closing?
In closing, you know, that I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like, you know, we're going to continue to move forward with these devices. I have your back too. And, you know, they can censor us. They can shadow ban us. They can try to kill our souls and whatever. I'm going to continue making these. And, you know, if anyone has any wants to have any conversations about, you know, this technology, give us a call. We'll chat. I'm happy to chat anytime. Just message me, and have faith, everyone. We're going to get through everything. No doubt about it. Just got to stick to the right path, and we'll be.
Exactly. And shoot, man, I know we've been wanting to do more lives. We've been saying we wanted to do more lives. Maybe we should do like a weekly or a bi-weekly one to tune in, to check in, to get people on the level that really want to resonate this vibration and frequency. I'm feeling good right now.
Yeah.
I'm really good. So I would like to offer that. And super grateful for you too, bro. You know, super grateful for this work. You've helped me drastically in my journey, man, like with going plant-based, with eating better, with just making better choices for my own health and well-being. So you know,
Yep.
grateful.
Yep. The natural law, the principle of correspondence, the mirror, how we treat others is going to be reflected onto us. So we have to live virtuous, moral lives.